back to another episode of Young and Self-Employed, the Unfiltered Stories. I am your host, Nissa Cadet, and here I have with me Carl.
My name is Carl Christian.
Okay.
I'm the old one.
Doing the most.
How are you? How are you? I am here today with the beautiful Nissa. Yes, today we're going to be talking about some stories, how to deal with people general. You're
topic.
young and you're old. Yeah, I am. I know. I agree with it.
See, he said it.
I
didn't even
agree.
say this.
I agree. I'm
I was
getting
gonna
old.
let it slide, but since he wants to bring it up.
So, people.
Yes, dealing with people. Okay, so let me. This is something close to me because I'm not so. And I always tell people, well, when I get close enough to people, I don't just tell them this, once I first meet them.
I feel special.
But I always tell people, I'm not really a people person. It's just not in my DNA. I'm not rude or anything. I know how to compose myself. I know how to be social when I need to be. But if I had it my way, I would be behind a little computer every day or on.
I would not think that. You see, every day I learn something about her.
I am not that person. I mean, I do it because I have to. There's really no going around it. But
that is a very good subject, though, because that will show us the opposite side. Because I'm completely opposite. I love people.
Every day I have to go home and kind of reset and kind of.
My biggest flaw, believe it or not, my biggest one, I love people too much.
Yeah.
That's my biggest flaw. And I said it's a flaw because people would say, oh, no, it's not a flaw. You love people. But people take advantage of someone that's the subject we're talking about. You care too much. When you care too much. When I was growing up, they always say that anything you do excess of is always a nuisance, And I think it's true because you care too much, people take advantage and you get hurt. And but I love people. I cannot. My house is open. Everybody's always at my house. But I'm gonna tell you, the older I'm getting, the smaller the circle is.
Okay.
That I can tell you that. Before, I used to have 50, 100 people over all the time. We'd always talking. I have to talk to everybody, but now it's going down. Maybe 10.
That's still a lot for me.
Let me ask you. Do you feel lonely though? Does loneliness kick in because you don't have people around?
Not as often as you would think. I'm so content.
Wow.
with being on my own. I mean, of course, there's times where it's kind of okay, I'm bored or haven't been around people in a while, and not even just people, but my close friends. But for me personally, I think it's just something I'm used to because a lot of my closest relationships are always unnecessarily far. My bestest friend lives in California. I see her about once a year sometimes. My next closest friend is in Palm Beach, and where I'm staying at now, that's a good 2-hour drive. I'm not driving there every week or 2 times. I'm not.
Of course.
It's not something I'm doing. So, I think I've gotten used to maintaining relationships and friendships, through the phone the best I could. So maybe it's not as lonely. But also, I'm just not impressed with people for me to be oh, I need to be around people, or oh, I feel lonely. Because I take myself out. I go to the beach.
Oh, wow.
I do. I absolutely do.
You see, that's important. She takes herself out. I just started doing that, believe it or not.
Good.
At my age.
I'm proud of
Yeah.
you.
I actually go to the beach by myself.
That's good.
And it's not about being depressed. It's just I go and have fun. I went to the movies the other day by myself. I loved it, Or after a good day, I'll go to a bar and I sit by myself and I have a drink and then I go home. Now let me ask you, Nissa. You're self-employed. I don't know if I can say that live, but she doesn't like people. How are you struggling? Because I'm sure a lot of people are like that. A lot of people, they don't I have a therapist that used to call the genre, I would say, an island. You're an island. It doesn't mean you're against people. You're just your own little island, and people only get in when you invite them in. So here you are, self-employed, which means you're chasing people.
Right.
How are you struggling or are you overcoming? Talk to me about this.
I'm both struggling and overcoming. It's a little bit of both. I think I've come a long way from where I first started, because it's not even just about me not liking people. I struggle with social anxiety as well.
That's another keyword.
Right. So
Anxiety.
before it was really like, okay, because there's a lot of networking events, there's a lot of things you have to go to. Before, I would probably go, maybe, me and my mom would go to a lot of places.
Okay.
Let's say in a week, maybe 5 events we found. I'm gonna go to one, because the other one overstimulated me, and then the other ones I'm like already too much in my head to go to them. So I've kind of come along a long way as far as going to more and being more comfortable. I mean, I still have to like decompress, and I literally go mute after events
Wow.
sometimes, because I need silence. I need to reboot. I need all of it. But
What would be your advice to a few of our fan family? We're still waiting to see which one we'll pick.
right.
What would be your advice? Like, how would you tell them, like, hey guys, if you are like me, this is
My advice would be, one, always dress for the occasion, because if you are not comfortable in how you look, it's just gonna
Confidence. I like
it's
that.
definitely gonna add more to the insecurity. So definitely dress for the event you're gonna be in, so you can at least feel like you look like you belong there, even though mentally you don't think you do. And also, you know, some people are just as nervous as you, or some people,
That's true.
let's say if people know about you in the city or whatever, some people are even excited to meet you, or like, oh my god, you're so and so. And I didn't even realize that for me until people started coming up to me like, you know me, like who are you, real quick? But so, I always tell myself it's not as bad, not everything is as bad as it seems.
That is true.
Because I always panic first, and I get there, I'm like, oh, that wasn't so bad.
I have an advice that I want to give to you, and you'll pass it along with everybody. Is
Okay.
this: whatever you don't deserve will be taken away from you. And deserving something is not because somebody says so. You have to say so. So you have to feel you deserve where you are. You deserve to be the person you are. You deserve to have everything you have. And then everything will stay. But if you feel like you don't belong, or you feel like you don't deserve that moment, it will be taken away from you.
I like that a lot, actually.
Okay.
I'm gonna think about it.
So you want to definitely enjoy the moment, live the moment, because as being self-employed myself, yes, I am a social butterfly, believe it or not. I can meet everybody and everybody loves me, but I do have anxiety when I'm going to a room full of people that I don't know. It's like you're asking yourself, who should you talk to, who you would not. One thing that is happening to me now, which is a little odd, is I'm known everywhere because, of course, the social media, all my TV shows, and all of that. So now I walk into a room and people are like, "Oh, the nice agent," and I'm like, "Yeah," and then you're like, "Okay, is that guy know you from something good or from something bad?" And then you start having a little bit of anxiety. So yes, my thing about when you're being self-employed, you're dealing with people is, number one, what I do. I take a pause, not out of anxiety. You can only learn when you listen. And silence is the best teacher, okay, for both parties. If you silence, you can take in. By the person not saying much, the body is telling you a lot. So you want to take a moment and actually see who you're dealing with. The second thing is, don't talk about things that can create a confusion or a distraction or a fight. And we know all those things are, and sometimes we don't pay attention, we talk about them. Politics, religions, sex. Believe it or not. Because everybody have their own opinion about those things. And because of that, when you get into that opinion, people can feel like, oh, that's your point of view, that's not mine. And you're losing them. And as self-employed.
They kind of put that.
Yeah, and
That's who
they
you
oh
are.
yeah, they judge you right away. And we agree, people judge. There's nothing you can, and you did say that last week. People judge you. There's no way around that you're gonna think, oh, people don't judge. They do. Okay, so therefore you want to be able to get into an event, and the idea is to make friends, not close friends. Okay, but the idea is to make friends. What I tell everybody is this: being self-employed, I don't care if you're a realtor, a mortgage broker, a stockbroker, whatever it is your net work is your net worth. So which means as many people you can have in your database is as much money you're gonna earn. So the idea is not to go sell homes, not to do loans, not to sell stocks. The idea is to gather people. The more you're gathering, the more you're making. That's just the way it is. So that's why I would tell everybody, keep meeting people.
So I have a question for you. I know we're like polar opposites, and it might not be as much of a struggle for you. But do you ever feel like, I guess I want to say an overload? Like, do you ever feel that you have to kind of step back and before you jump back, around people? And how do you deal with that, or do you deal with that?
I'm the total opposite. I'm not an island at all. I'm a stadium.
Okay.
So which means that I used to be a very depressed person. So I would be in a stadium and feel alone. And now that I work a lot on myself, and I advise anybody that is suffering from depression or anxiety, psychotherapist doesn't have to be with medication, but talking a lot, and sick to be around the good friends, people that understands that, so they can boost you up all the time. So for me, no, I'm not. I don't need to go reset because I'm around people. It will be the opposite. If I'm alone too much, I need to go find people for me to. I feed from people's energy. Like right now, I'm feeding from your energy. If you're down, it's very weird, but you will pull me down with you. If you're up, I'm excited. So it is different for me. Believe it or not, I used to date someone that was an island, opposite of me completely. Okay, so here I am that always want to go to a party, and then the minute she gets to the party, like 30 minutes later, she wants to go home. She's anxious. She doesn't. And me, the party just got started, So it was always a struggle. So I'm always feeling like we have to do things alone, and I want to go somewhere where I meet my friends, be with my friends. Like, it's. I get you. I really do. But being self-employed, being in the midst of, if you don't meet people, you don't make money. It's something that I urge everybody to work on. You don't need to be close to everybody, but you want to be able to create attachments. They need to relate to you. You need to relate to them. Because at the end of the day, myself right now, I earn 65 to 70% of my income only based on referrals. So imagine that I did not build that database for 20 years. Right. Today I would be in trouble. Yeah. So this is why I'm saying you have to figure it out the way that you don't change who you are, but you have to adapt to who you need to be. And this is where the topic is excessively big. It is, like people in general. It's crazy. Like, I have a discussion with a lot of my friends. Like, oh, I'm not gonna change for me to go deal with this transaction. And I'm like, no, you don't need to change to deal with the transaction, but you need to adapt to the transaction. Yeah. And people don't understand that. They call me the chameleon. If look, I have clients that are super rappers, okay? I have clients that are football players, and I have CFOs and CEOs. I will behave differently around them because I have to relate. Right. I don't curse, but with some of my clients, it's cursing every 2 words, and I can't be like, no, don't curse. That's their lifestyle, I have to respect it. So yes, you have to get to the point where you adapt. I don't know, maybe we're gonna have to do number 2 on this one, right?
You might have to do a part 2 because it's a lot. I have a lot of questions.
Do you guys want a part 2? You have to leave it in the comment. If you want a part 2 about people, we'll do it. If not, then hey. Anyway, this is Young
and self-employed.
Young and self-employed, okay? Yes.
Unfiltered stories.
Those are let me tell you, the next one coming, you don't want to miss it. All right? Thursday, 6 p.m.